All right, we're in the hotel room packing up, and so the yes, very nice. Yeah, that light actually it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Well, I don't know. That'll make you seem really dark. Yeah, no. Hold on a second. All right, so I'm gonna get Mike gets himself situated with the lighting there. I'm gonna give you a little background. All right, let's try this one more time. So there's a lot of new games coming out. And here at BTP, we're going to help you make sense of it all. So we made some assignments to go out and what are the criteria that make a good game and a good company. And every person got an assignment to go out and find certain facts about a given company. So, and those are age of the company, business plan, quality of models, the consistency of theme and artwork, difficulty and type of rules, cost of entry, expandability / new releases, the background story and fluff, assemblability, what are the models made out of, plastic, resin, or metal, and also corporate structure. So we're looking, does this game have a future, effectively, and why should you, the consumer, buy it? Okay, so Mike, you're on.
Yes, ask me the questions.
Okay, so which company did you
All right,
review?
so I was assigned / volunteered to review Wreck Age,
right.
The game.
And this is one I haven't even heard of.
Yeah, this game.
So
yeah, they're.
What's the company?
Wreck Edge. I'm not actually sure. The company may be Wreckage.
Okay, that'd be like a company named Rub-ish.
Rubash.
No, but seriously, what's the name of the company?
Hold on, I've got their.
Oh, Mike,
I've got
seriously?
their flyer, okay.
Oh my gosh, we can't even do this.
Sean, you're just making it work.
As far as I
Let it go.
Okay.
That's my idiom.
Walk it off.
I make things worse. So was it like a single? Was it a single guy? Was it a soloist kind of making this game?
So essentially, there seem to be two guys that are here that are involved in things.
Okay.
Matt and Anton.
Okay.
And they were running some demo games.
Okay.
Right now, they're in demo mode. They're kind of showing everyone what it's like, selling the miniatures.
Do they have a finished product? Do they have like a rule book, box sets? What do they have?
No rule books or box sets yet. So,
oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
They actually just got the miniatures. 2 days ago.
Well, we can't even be considering this company.
All right.
All right. Well, tell me about the company. Go ahead.
They seem like people that have it together. They've got good sculptors. They've got great figs. In fact, they gave me a couple.
He's got them in his pocket. Fantastic! Oh my gosh! Well, I don't have my magnifying glass, so we won't be able to really look at them.
If you're looking for dystopian future figs, these are amazing.
Okay. Because we can recommend just figures as, hey, go buy these figures because they're
that's
cool.
What we should do.
Right.
Although we did play their game, Brett and I, and it was fun. They had a scenario set up where the objective was that you were.
Is it like a post-apocalyptic thing?
Yeah, post-apocalyptic. We had some.
Like Earth Near Future? What is it?
I got the impression it was almost 200 years after an apocalypse.
Okay.
So where everything's kind of just scavengers, and they were in the scenario. We were running pigs strapped with explosives at a fence. And trying to take it out while there was a sniper and some other guys with shotguns trying to stop us, and we blew up those pigs. Anytime you strap explosives to farm animals in a game, I think you're headed for success.
Okay, so basically, the Age of Company is brand spanking new.
Yeah, they've been around. I've been talking to them. They've been putting the game together for about 2 years now. And they're
so they really are just kind of beta running it through a convention. So you don't know where they're from?
They are based in Chicago. They're Chicago-based company.
Okay, you made it sound like they were Australians or something.
That was John.
John just inserted that complete falsehood.
They're American.
I don't know.
They're strictly American.
Okay. All right. So what kind of game is it? Is it skirmish level, mid-level, or war game?
4 or 5 figs per side.
Okay.
Fairly quick games, from what we can tell.
So that takes care of the cost of entry, right? Okay. All right. Now.
questions.
All right, make a closing statement. Listen, I do not interrupt.
All right.
What?
So,
It's gotta have something to do with
In
it's like
conclusion,
Big Tiger.
I'm
I'd
ready.
say it's a young game, but it's got great promise, amazing figs, and a lot of explosives strapped to pigs, which you can't go wrong with. I
All
assure
right.
you.
Thank you very much.
It's on.
Keep rolling no matter what. Well, my cocktail napkin tells me the criteria. No,
You
this
have
is
it on a
really-
cocktail napkin?
No, it's a piece
Was
of
it
paper.
in your pocket?
No, it's a piece of paper I got at the restaurant.
No,
It actually has
it
like
was-
food and stuff on it. It's completely unprofessional. So anyway, like what is about to ensue here. So here's the deal. You can't pick up and play all of these games. You can't like them all. There's limitations. And one of the limitations is actually learning the rules to one of these games. If someone came and gave you painted models and rule books and gave you all the equipment to play it, you would still need to make an investment, and that's the mental energy to learn the game. And if someone came and showed you the game, you'd still need to use disk space up here to store all those rules, and you need to use your precious wargaming and hobby time to actually play it, right? So, and that is the big thing we're walking away with from this Adepticon, which is, wow, there is going to be a shakedown in the market, a shake-up, shake through, whatever it is. You're gonna there's gonna be winners and losers in this whole thing. So, as a company, as Blue Table Painting, we decided to try and make some sense of it all. So, the company I picked was Mantic, and oh yes, Mantic, fantasticalist. That is not a word. Hold tight. Don't look at me while I figure out where my stuff is.
I didn't get a company
Seriously, gosh darn it.
to research.
Yeah.
Here it is.
We're
Okay, I'm
chopped
ready.
liver.
All right, so Mantic has been around for 4 years. And so one thing you're going to want to look at when you're looking at a miniatures battles company or a miniatures battles game, it could be they're from a very well-established company, even though the game itself is new, and that bodes well if they have good support. But you have to look at the company's history of supporting their games as well. Like Fantasy Flight Games just puts out like just new stuff every month. So the question is, are they going to continue to support their games? How long have they been around? Of course, you saw the interview about Dust Tactics and Dust Warfare. Well, Dust has been around for at least a couple of years now, and they've been releasing stuff for it. But I'm not talking about Dust, I'm talking about Mantic. Mantic puts out two main lines. They put out a fantasy game called Kings of War, and they put out recently meaning in the last, I think about a year ago, a science fiction game called Warpath, which was very highly anticipated. Do you guys mind?
What? Do
No, Sarah said I was
my
supposed to
gosh.
talk to you and like
You're
respond.
supposed to talk to me and respond and interrupt? See, there it is. It's not my fault that other people don't, you know.
people that are involved in this are used to it.
Right.
Yeah,
All right.
obviously.
All right. You know what? I'm working with amateurs here. No, I'm kidding. This is great. Amateur is our whole thing. Okay, so here's the deal. I did talk to him about business plan because you don't want to dig too deep, but it's a legitimate question. If I'm going to go to our many thousands of fans and say, "Hey, your game is great," well, you know, I look like a bit of a guard if that doesn't make any sense. I look like a bit of a jerk if you know you completely tank within 6 months, right? So we can't just get people riled up over every game that comes along,
Right.
right? So the business plan there is that they are making wargaming accessible, enjoyable, and affordable. And my question was, well, what's the difference between accessible and affordable? An example of accessible means the game's easy to learn, relatively easy to learn at least, and they do have their rules in PDF online. So that is a really nice feature there. Enjoyable, obviously, what that is. And affordable is one of the main points of Mantic, that their price
Right.
point is about $1 per plastic figure, rather than $2 to $4 with some other companies. And their figures are good. They've got good detail. I've worked with them. I worked with their zombies and their ghouls. Loved them all. Used them a lot in my vampire counts, Warhammer Fantasy Army.
Right.
So, so there's that. So that addresses their quality of models and business plan. I don't know much about their artwork. It seems like it all makes sense. It's not all over the place. That's one of our criteria. Is you know, like for example, is it one guy who's just like whatever he dreams up that week, he sculpts it, makes a Vulcan thing, and his buddy starts stuffing them into blisters, you know, and they do a run of 500, which granted would be a lot for two guys to cast up, but you know, how does that work? Is it like all over the place? Which is, I hate to say it, and I have the unfortunate duty of a critic here, that is my problem with Malifaux. I think Malifaux is very weak in that area. They created a setting. Mike and I, we've talked about this.
It's just not as consistent as it could be.
Yeah, you can't have something where the setting's like, well, it's a dream world, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be.
Gamers like rules, and
rules of like the reality of the fantasy.
All sorts.
Right. And I think that's a strong point of Games Workshop, is they theme their stuff really like, bam, this is what a Tyranid looks like.
Right.
But they didn't start out that way. It's only recently they kind of got their act together. Recently meaning the last 10 years. But Malifaux, some will argue, well, it's Wild West, it's steampunk. Yeah, I understand that, but it still is kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it can be a great game even though you have a weak area. So you've got expandability. So cost of entry is pretty low because the models are inexpensive. But it is a war game. Warpath and Kings of War are games you play with whole giant art, like 50 or more figures. Is our guest with you?
They're not.
Okay, great. So Warpath. So the expandability. Here's where I got some inside information. Expandability for Warpath, which is the recent one, they have 4 factions now, and that's going to 8 and then to 11 in the coming, I think, year to 2. So you're talking about they're really going to expand it out. Kings of War, which is the fantasy version, which has been out for quite a while, they already have 8 factions, and which are kind of the traditional fantasy type stuff. You know, dark elves, dwarves, orcs, stuff like that. They have 8, they're going to 11, and then 14. So that'll be pretty much a full line there. Even though the factions may not be very deep. Warpath, I think, only has like 5 to 10 releases per faction right now. As opposed to, for example, Privateer Press. Privateer Press has the deepest releases per faction, even over Games Workshop. They have, for the War Machine faction, they have 50 to 80 army list entries that are published. Their line is extravagant.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't realize it's that much. You see these little armies, but there's a lot of models.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
out
thought
for 'em.
50 to 80.
It's a huge line. And Games Workshop is typically 30 to 50 deep per thing. Like the Dark Eldar Codex had. And by the way, I love this format because we can talk about all the games at once. Whereas when you're out on the floor, typically it rankles people just a little bit.
When you start talking about their competitors,
when you do start comparing them to other games. But I'm doing it now. Hold on. Background story. Frankly, I don't know that much about it. I haven't read a lot of the fluff for Warpath. One thing I found it very interesting is that for Warpath, the vehicles they've released are pretty insubstantial. They're like buggy sized. You know, they're like Games Workshop in the 90s, you know, where they didn't have a lot of substance.
Right.
But
we've actually got one of those we can show in another video in the set that I bought.
They're only like, so like a Rhino is like this big, and their vehicles are like that. It's like a trike or something like that. They're very well sculpted. They're easy to put together, so that's the accessibility thing. But they do. Here's the news: they do have plans on doing larger kits, and to me, that's the big deal. I want to see them make the larger kits, and I think there's probably an expense thing to make an aluminum block mold that's this big. Oh, and by the way, make 4 of those for the kit, right? Is a lot less expensive than making like zombies. I'll probably only have 2 smaller blocks, for example. but they are denser. Expansions driven by sales, so I found that out about Mantic. But right now they basically they're not getting like investors, I guess. They are, well, I can't speak for them, I only have limited information, but they are basically plowing it under, and the owners are paid. Is that off the record that he told me that? Well, anyway. So, but that is a healthy sign of a company if it's not like all volunteer work from the main people. And so, and that was when I asked about corporate structure. So, Mantic, I'm giving Mantic thumbs up. I think they're on the right path. They're showing up every year. They're making new releases. I think they're strong enough to step on, basically. Strong enough to support weight, I should say. We don't want to step on them. All right, well, that's probably my overly
Strong
long
enough
thing.
to take a
That's
good
one
beating.
more before we go
Right.
out.
All right.
Do we have time for one? What?
All right. We're here talking to Brett, asking him the 10 questions. 11 questions about what makes a successful miniatures company, and we're going to ask him what exactly he thought about the company. USB thing. All right, go.
Okay, what are my questions?
All right, so the company
All right.
is.
So, going with Warlord Games here. They do a large different lines of historical miniatures. The one that we're focusing on tonight is called Bolt Action. It's a World War II skirmish game. Looks like a 28mm scale. Yeah.
All right. So first question.
All right.
How old is the company? How old is Warlord?
Warlord been around for a while. They've been developing World War II games for about 7 years, but it's mainly been like large-scale pen and paper type games. They've used a lot of their rules and a lot of the stuff they've learned from that over the last 7 years to going into creating this game. So this game hasn't been around too long, but the company itself has been around for a while.
Awesome. What seems to be their business plan?
Their business plan is just to keep expanding their lines. Like I said, they do more than just the World War II miniatures. They also have like ancient Greece, ancient Roman, African Zulu, all kinds of cool historical miniatures. And they're constantly releasing new stuff, and they're trying to grow.
All right. From what I could tell, they had pretty cool miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
What you bought a box? What did you think of them?
I bought a box of American Airborne Screaming Eagles. Comes with about 22 figures, and I was impressed in my initial unboxing of it. They look like they're clean. They look like they're well sculpted. All individual sculpts. I didn't see any duplicates in there, which I think is fantastic out of 22 guys. Wide range of poses, action, different things they're doing. So far they look like they're really nice.
All right. From what I could tell, I mean most of these games seem to have. I mean, you need a lot of infantry, basically. How much is it going to cost someone to get into Warlord?
So this is skirmish game, so we're talking low model count. We also picked up their rule books. They actually have 3 rule books right now. This is kind of your main rules. This is a supplemental rules, and this is a rules for vehicles. And their lists in here. I'll show you a picture of what the list looks like. Really simple. I'll show you the list that I'm going to run right here. This is the whole list right there. Wham.
4
9
things.
models.
9 models
Yeah.
total. That's
That's
not bad.
No, the box that I purchased retails, I think they said it was like $42.95 or something like that, around that $40 range. And that actually gives you almost twice as many models as you need to play the minimum game.
So you could have 2 people playing a minimum game
Easily. Yeah.
with
So,
one box.
if you're looking at about $18 for the rule book. $45 we'll say plus change, tax, whatever for the models. So you're
It's
looking
cheap.
entry cost for 2 players about less than $100.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
It's awesome.
it's very affordable.
Very.
All right, expandability, new releases. Are they going to come out with new things that maybe weren't in the first World War II?
right now, I believe they're focusing just on World War II.
Okay.
So I don't think they're going to come up with like alternate reality type things or expanded universe type things. But they are doing new releases often. They have a mailing list that you can sign up for to get news on new releases. And they're also expanding this. Whereas other World War II miniature games focuses only on Europe, they have actually started releasing Pacific Theater stuff. So you have U.S. Marine divisions and Imperial Japanese Army divisions as well, which is relatively new for World War II miniatures, as far as I know.
Okay, the next question I'm supposed to ask is about background and story, but
Well, actually, that's very valid. It looks like they've done their research.
Okay.
I am by no way an expert on World War II stuff. However, one of our other guys here, John, he has done a lot of research into this, and so just from him glancing over the Army lists, he was actually really impressed that the squad numbers were correct. The weapon types are correct, what they would be carrying. So it looks like they've done their research into the historical aspects. So yeah, I'd say it's got a good background.
okay, and fluff. Are there named characters, or do you can you pick hero characters or anything?
I haven't noticed that there's any hero characters. In talking to the representative and during the game demos, it looks like they have a sort of ability to name characters, kind of as a progressive game system. You have characters that are named.
Can you name every character if you want?
There's no reason why you can't. I mean,
Okay.
you're only running 8 to 10 guys.
Yeah.
And I think that would add a little level of realism and kind of be able to connect with some of your characters, I guess.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if they die, they die, and you can't. You have
Private
no replacement
Ryan.
for them. So, yeah, yeah.
All right. Assemblability. Have you tried to put any of these together?
So far, I would say 90% of them are all one piece.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
there's no assembly required. They come on. If you've ever seen any Reaper figures, they usually come with some type of base, basically
Right.
built in.
And I'll explain that right now. As a sculptor and caster, it's so much easier not to have bubbles in a model with a tiny base. Just sucks the bubbles out or something. So, it's a real thing.
But yeah, there are a few ones you do have to assemble, like the machine gun teams usually have 2 guys laying down, so you have to kind of assemble them together, and then like a bipod or something. The mortar crew has a couple pieces you have to assemble. Other than that, everything's just all one piece. In some of their newer releases, they actually have plastic kits, which you will have to assemble. The ones that we got are all metal. But the new plastic ones they are having make it so you can pose them differently, and they have different like variations of heads that you can put on and everything. So that's kind of cool.
So what did you find out about their corporate structure?
About their corporate structure, they've just opened a new shop or a new kind of distribution center here in the United States.
And they're based in Nottingham, right?
Yeah, in England. So that shows that they are growing and expanding,
Right.
which is very good. Beyond that, I didn't really delve much into their corporate structure.
All right. Well, I think that's all the questions. Time for conclusion statements.
Conclusion, we've got a number of people at the studio who are interested in playing this and seeing if it's something that we would like to kind of delve into more. I know a lot of people at the studio have been, shown interest in a World War II skirmish, and this one just kind of fell into our laps, and so we're going to hope that we can run with it.
All right.
I'm excited for it.
Thanks so much, Brett.
Thank you.
Hey, Blue Table fans. I guess it's my turn now.
It's James's turn. All right, James. We've been going over these different companies and different games coming out. So which one are you going to talk to us about today?
We're going to talk about DGS Games. Where gamers rule.
All right, and the game that we're going to be talking about?
This is actually called Free Blades.
All right.
This is one that I played a demo of earlier.
Okay, just give us a little 2-second overview of the game real fast, and we'll delve into the questions.
Basically, it's an RPG skirmish tabletop battle game.
All right, sounds good. Okay, we're going to start with a couple questions about the company itself. About how long has
DGS.
DGS, I apologize. How long has DGS been around?
DGS has actually been around for a few years. I want to say like 4. I can't remember exactly, and I haven't slept since then. But they've been around for a few years, but they actually primarily made models for role-playing systems. They didn't really have anything of their own. They started developing their own role-playing like background and everything in this world of Phelan, they call it. And yeah, so then Freeblades just recently came out. They don't even have a rule set available yet. They did have a kind of a beta release copy for us to kind of look at, and you can still go on their website and actually download those as a playtester and get kind of updates. So.
All right, awesome. So the next couple, I'm going to ask you two questions kind of at the same time. Were you able to find anything about their corporate structure and or their business plan, or their business model?
Currently for Freeblades, they are kind of freewheeling right now. Until the book itself comes out, they really don't have any other major goals as far as the business goes. Their business, like corporate structure or anything, I really wasn't able to get anything like that out of them, just kind of talking to them. But like I said, once the book itself comes out, they have 4 factions to start with. The main rulebook itself kind of shows that, like in the beginning, they've got like a map showing their world, and they've got the central section of this map with the 4 main races that you start off with, but with 14. All right, so where were we?
We're going to go on to another question.
Okay. Next.
So as far as getting into the game, what can you tell us? What kind of a monetary cost we're going to be looking at going into the game? What kind of things are we going to need to purchase?
Being a skirmish game, your model count is really low. The average starter box is, I think, 5 or 6 models, and that is pretty much everything you need to get into the game. The starter boxes, I think, range from $30 to $35, something around there. They're really good. Just really not expensive.
All right. Any from what you could tell the models, because I believe you actually purchased a starter set.
Yes, I did.
What can viewers expect as far as like putting them together? Is it going to be easy, difficult, assembly wise? What are we looking at?
They're going to be similar to traditional RPG style models, where you're only going to have a handful of pieces. It's not going to be like a GW model or an Infinity model where there are 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, sometimes up to 10 or 12. You're looking maybe 2 or 3 pieces tops for most of the models that I looked at. I didn't pull them all out. It's really simple. They look really good, and they look like they're going to fit together well. I kind of dry fit a couple of them just to.
Well, and that kind of leads into the next question. Like, how are the quality of the miniatures themselves?
They're really good quality. I like them. I like the way they look. They're a 32mm scale, so they're not our traditional heroic scale that we're used to. So they are a little bit bigger than your average model, but I think it fits really well.
And if I remember correctly, I believe the creator said that they really wanted to go for a much more natural, realistic pose as opposed to the kind of overproportioned, epic
heroic scale.
Heroic
exactly.
Scale, yeah.
And that's exactly what they came across. Like, there's a couple of pictures here that you can kind of see of their models.
Awesome. All right, and then as far as what little information you've been able to gather about like the fluff and background story, what can we expect from that? Is it going to be a lot of fluff or a little fluff?
The world of Phelan is really well developed. One of the races that I actually looked into were the dwarves. Surprise, surprise. I can't remember their exact name. They had a really cool name, but they're basically pushed back into one city. They're kind of historically they're similar to a Tsarist Russia, however you pronounce that. And they've got the Secret Service type thing that is really trying to make sure that their people don't get corrupted by the other races and their influence, so they keep their culture and they're really closed off, that sort of thing. That's one of their future races that they're planning on developing. They've currently got one model for those. The other races have similar backstory. There's reasons for everyone to be doing what they're doing. So.
All right, awesome. I just got one more question. You kind of touched on it a little bit before. So there's 4 playable factions right now.
Correct.
You said with what kind of expansion can we expect from the company in the future?
They've got the 4 basic factions right now. They've already got new models in the works that aren't quite released yet. They do have plans on adding more models for those. The set that I got were the bandits, the Black Rose bandits. They're named for their leader, the Black Rose. She's rather vicious on the tabletop, I'll say that. They do have lots of expandability just in the initial 4 factions, but then, like I said, they've got up to 14 other factions that they can add in, that they've got a few models for a few of those. Some might have 1 or 2, most only have 1, but they can expand those out so you can have full playable races, essentially.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Do you have any last comments you want to add to this, just to close us out?
DGS games, I can't wait to get them painted up and watch my characters progress.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, James.
Thank you.
This camera's had it. Oh, so this is our parting feast. We got all of our miscellaneous food out of our fridges, right?
No,
And,
show off the
so
awesome plates, Sean.
we're gonna try and eat all this, and these are the plates that we ended up getting. Zoo Pals, aren't they
Nice.
lovely? They are so much fun. Tiger. So we're gonna find out a little bit about each person, depending on the Zoo Pal plate that they pick, that they identify with.
I dipped the tiger.
So we've had a great time at YouTube. We've had a great time at Adepticon. I hope you all enjoyed, and thanks for coming along as part of our wonderful, wonderful journey, and wish us a good journey, a good and safe journey home. So I picked Tiger because of Tigger, because I'm like Tigger, and
I went Cajun.
Cajun and
I'm all
Snake.
about the reptiles.
Okay,
Don't
very
ask
nice.
me why.
Okay, so Sarah picked zebra because she sees everything in black and white. Okay, good.
All right,
That's the thing we made up.
I'm okay with that.
Mike is picking the monkey because
It looks
Monkey
like him.
trap.
Look at
monkey what?
Monkey trap.
Monkey
Look
trap.
at the likeness.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
very similar.
It's my desk.
Are you saying that monkey looks like?
Okay, how about you, John?
I don't know.
No, I'm saying the
Come
human
on,
looks like
you got to pick one. So you can't pick, but you have to pick giraffe or elephant. Okay, great.
Mac and cheese.
It looks like some kind of food. Well, and Tammy has the elephant then. Okay, great.